Hey, well, it's 4:30 in the afternoon. It's the 22nd of December 2014. You know, in the southern Rockies of America, there are Native American tribes people whom every day, still to this day, every single day, they dance. They dance in the morning, they drum and they dance because if they don't dance, the sun won't come up. And one day, fairly recently, about 15 years ago, an anthropologist turned round to these Indians and said, "You do realise that if you don't dance and you don't drum, the sun will still come up." And the elders, the drummers, the Indians, the natives, they went away and they got one of their kids who was at university and doing a PhD at Harvard or something like that to turn around to the anthropologist and said, "Look, you don't get it. If they dance and they drum and they chant and they feel the force and the flow and the life, the sun will come up. And if they don't, a collection of hydrogen and nitrogen, hydrogen fusion atoms all coalesced in a bright orange ball of heat will rise on the horizon as the earth spins round it. But if they dance, the sun will come up." And it was like that at Stonehenge. The drummers were there. It was a relatively mild one. Instead of the normal 6,000 or 7,000 tourists and lots of coaches for the photographers, because of the changes, people had to walk now. You couldn't just drive up. You had to walk a mile and a half to get to the stones. And that stopped a lot of people from getting there. There's about 1,500 people there. When it opened, there was about 500. There was about 1,500 people there at the moment of sunrise. And of course, the sun didn't rise because it was low cloud. But it did, we just didn't see it. And there were the usual suspects. There was a gagoogle of astrologers, a conjunction of astrologers, as always, so some of the old faces and some of the new ones. And there was the odd hand fasting, and yeah, there's some nice pictures taken, and no one got arrested, and there was no trouble, and it was like one big happy family. Stonehenge is a winter solstice monument. It's not a summer solstice monument. It's actually set out to mark the position of the winter solstice in the heavens. So all these 50,000 strong hippies who go there in the summer, they just can catch me there. Like I go to the other end of the earth to get away from it. But in the winter, when it's cold and windy, and there's only a few people there, yeah, it was great. And then I come back and I look at the software and I think, wow, that was solstice. Moon's in Capricorn now. Sun's in Capricorn. Venus has passed Pluto. Mars has passed sextile to Uranus. The moon is just about to hit Pluto over the coming 6 hours and square Uranus. And Saturn is at 29 degrees 53 minutes. This tells me that Saturn's going to change sign tomorrow. So I guess we're entering the last 24, 48 hours of Saturn in Scorpio, at least for the next 6 months, just as we come, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, to the end of the dark, to the end of the darkest period of the dark. And over the next 1 week, at my latitude, we're going to get an extra 73 seconds of daylight. But then it'll double that in the next week and the light's coming back. Of course, it's different if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. But the astrology of these times is relatively benign, but there do seem to be some triggers about to be pulled. And the new moon of the last 24 hours, although it's a precursor, it's actually quite helpful in many ways. Believe me, the new moons of this period we're in are helpful. The full moons that are coming, the full moon 2 weeks from now, I'll be going on about this. There's a lot changing soon now. We've got the full moon coming up with the Sun conjunct Pluto. We've got Saturn moving into Sagittarius. There's a whole different ethos about to develop around us now. But in the meantime, here we are at the start of a new year. And the horoscope of the solstice is actually quite helpful. And I have to be honest, I'm normally relatively pessimistic, certainly solid and down to earth and not given to airy-fairy statements. But really, 2015, for the vast majority of us, personally, it's going to be a bit easier. I really look forward to it. Catch you later. Bye.